Hey, how you doing? In this video, I'm going to teach you how to edit on Premiere Pro, specifically how to animate objects and elements that you bring into Premiere Pro. If you've been following this series, this is the series where I'm teaching how you can transition from CapCut to Premiere Pro. And in the last video, I taught you how to do animations in CapCut, smooth animations, by the way. And in this video, I want to show you how you can achieve smooth animation with Premiere Pro. So my goal is to make sure that what you can do on CapCut or what you're already doing on CapCut, you are able to also do them on Premiere Pro as well. Okay, so let's dive right into it. In case you've not watched the other video, I want you to go watch it because in that video, I practically explained everything step by step. In this video, I'm just going to show you how you can achieve it. Of course, I'll be going into some in-depth explanation, but not as deep as the other video. So make sure you watch that. This one is going to be shorter, so just have that in mind. So the first thing that you want to do, you can see my assets. I've already downloaded the assets I would need. Of course, I'm not going to use all of this. It's going to take a long time for me to finish editing all this, and I want to teach this morning and get into other things. So what I would do is I'm just going to re-edit my careers, this particular portion where my picture comes up, the cap comes on my head, and then this slide comes base an editor from this side. So I've edited over, and then I'll just stop there. Yeah, and then I'll show you how I did this zoom effect where the background is coming forward and then the subject is going back, and then it just gives you this kind of vibe and feel. Okay, so that's what I'll be doing in this video. So let's look at our first element. I'm going to just skip the text, and okay, we have a screen recording at the background. Do I have that video here? I do not think so, but even if I don't, I would just replace it with this. So the way you work on Premiere Pro, I think I've made a beginner's tutorial on how to navigate CapCut and Premiere Pro. Okay, so like I was comparing them side by side. You should check out that video. It's probably somewhere in this channel, and let's continue. Now, this is my asset. The first thing I want to do is drag it onto my timeline and leave it there so you can see my program monitor. This is my program monitor. Look at program beside this. Okay, so let's assume this background is representing this screenshot right here. Okay, let's just assume that, or we can add something colorful. No, I intentionally put something dark because I wanted the picture to show well. So let's leave it as that. Then this is the picture I used. So I just drag this headshot and I have to go back to this is my program monitor. This is my actual program monitor. And the picture is bigger than the screen. So what I do is I come to effect control. There are 5 things that I'll be explaining that if you understand these 5 things, then editing, animating things on Premiere Pro will be easier for you. Okay, like you would learn it faster. So the first thing is the effects control panel. I think I put the effects panel first, but let's start with the effect control panel. This effect control panel is definitely where you want to, where you will be, even if you don't want to. If you are going to be animating on Premiere Pro, this is where you'll be spending most of your time. So I want you to really pay attention to this effect control panel. Okay, this effect control panel is where I am right now. This is where you are going to be able to adjust your scale, and that's the size of your image, your position, like whether it's should shift to the left, to the right, up or down, and the opacity, meaning how visible is your image or your video. Okay, so all of these things, you're going to be adjusting them in this effect control panel. So you definitely want to be paying attention to it. So I'm going to just reduce the scale to something around this. Then I'll bring it down. I'll reduce the scale again. Just pay attention to what I'm doing. I'm not rushing at all because I want you to understand what I'm doing. So now we have achieved that. The other thing is removing the background. There are different ways you can remove background. And honestly, I would have actually, on CapCut, it is like, it's easier. You can just click a button. But here, I guess I have to take it out to remove the background. But let me try something. This part is like, it's going to take more time, but let's just do it. I can use this mask to mask out the background, but it might not be as smooth and as fast as using CapCut. I actually download my assets from Canva most of the time, so I remove background right from there because this one is not as fast and as easy and not as smooth as well. So what I'm using is the opacity, the pen tool in the opacity side. You can see here we have this ellipse, square, polygon, and then free drawer, more like the pen. So kind of you have these 3 things, and then I pick this one because I want to be able to select certain part. I would not advise you to do what I'm doing right now, okay, but this is a plus for you. It just shows you what you can do with Premiere Pro. But this doesn't make Premiere Pro less than CapCut. I think Premiere Pro has so much advantage. I've used both, so trust me. Premiere Pro is going to support you if you are optimizing for speed. And even though it doesn't have some tools that Canva has, okay? If you are going to be doing high-end YouTube edits, you don't want to be using Premiere Pro. You can use it when you're starting out, but you don't want to use it forever. Again, this is not going to be smooth. It's not going to be as smooth as I would have wanted it, but I'm just going to go on with it because I do not want to postpone making this video anymore, and I know the serious people will watch it. All right, now you can see that I had to connect everything. Like after making all these points, I had to connect everything back. So you would see now I have my mask set up. Then I can click out of it to click another stuff. You can see this is not smooth. I can definitely adjust it under the mask segment. I can come to expansion and reduce, increase or reduce how big it is. Okay, so when I reduce it, I have -9. Let's look at that. So this is much better. So I would reduce it again. No, I don't want to reduce it again. Maybe I could adjust. I could take it to now we have our element. I'm just going to use it like this. I will use it like this. And so let's go to the next. I think what I have here, the effect control panel is very important. The next thing is effect panel. Okay, so when you want to animate, you can use this actual motion portion of this effect control to animate, but I would advise you to begin to use transform from the onset. It has all the things that this motion has, okay, but it is an additional, it is found, you find it in effect. Okay, so what I want you to do every time you want to animate is come to effect, search for transform, then this one, this transform, not this one, please, you cannot drag this. This is like, you can see it's more like a folder or a file. Yeah, while this is something you can actually use, it's this transform you want to pick, not this one. Okay, don't make that mistake. So just click this one and drag it to effect control and drop it on the video or on the effect control panel. So from effect to effect control, I usually like putting effects beside effect control because that's the best way to go about it. Trust me, you want to always put effects beside effect control because you'll be using them side by side. So what you want to do now is position. Okay, let me explain so I won't just be doing it now. So this is your transform tool, and let's assume you want this to come out from this bottom, you want it to come up. You are going to use the position animation. Okay, and let me say that there are three main types of, if you analyze any kind of edit at all, you are going to find three things. You are going to find something coming in, okay, something staying in, or something going out. Again, you're going to find something coming into the scene, something staying in the scene, moving from one point to another, and something going out of the screen. Okay, so those are the three main things that happen, like that you animate when you're doing animation. When you're doing animation, it's either something is coming in, it's staying in and moving around, or it's going out. So those are the three things you actually want to have in mind, and there are basic rules for the kind of animation that you should do when something is coming in, going out, and staying on screen. So we are going to definitely go into that. So I'm going to show you how to animate for things coming in, for things staying in, and for things going out. So when you come back to this effect control panel, make sure that whatever you are animating is selected. If it is this screenshot that's selected, I won't be able to work on this. I would make sure that it is this headshot. Selected means it has the white outline, so that is selected. So come to position, toggle animation on. As an editor, I've edited. Oh no, I should be in my program monitor. Sorry, I was in the source monitor. You don't need to bother about that if you don't know what it is at the moment. Just focus on what we are trying to achieve here. So effect control, I'm going to zoom in. Look at this, the bottom of this place, you can see these two edges I'm touching right now. So if you take from one edge to another, you can actually zoom in well into what you're doing. So yeah, I see that there's already a keyframe. So this is a keyframe. Another thing you want to know, I explained it in the other video, that you want to really understand how it works, is keyframe. Watch the other video for you to fully understand how it works, like what keyframes is and how it works. But now our playhead has moved forward a little bit, meaning there's time. Like I told you, keyframes are used to tell, or a keyframe is used to tell, communicate with your elements what it should do within a specific period of time. So in between these two keyframes, we have time, right? So now we want to say at the end of this thing, this stuff should be where it is right now, okay? Because that's entry, it should stop here. But at this particular point, we want it to come from the bottom. So we are going to click on this one. You can see now that it is selected blue. Blue is showing on it, and blue is not showing on this one, meaning we are working on this one. This is the keyframe we are working on. So now I'm going to come to, on CapCut, you are going to see X and Y here. X axis move from left to right, while the Y axis move from up to down. So I'm going to move this other one. I'm going to drag it down. Okay, now you can see what's happening. It's dragging only the picture without the opacity stuff that I edited. So let me just do something real quick to make sure that what I'm working on is not a mess. So what I did is, you know, the same way you compound clip on CapCut, this is a nested sequence. So it's similar, it's quite similar actually. They are not exactly the same thing, but that's the best way I explain it. So that way my stuff, when I'm moving it down, the opacity, what's it called, that stuff that I used to remove the background will also move with it. Okay, so now the difference, another difference between CapCut and Premiere Pro is, while you find your keyframes in the effect control panel. Your keyframes on CapCut are usually on the actual footage or image that you are working on. So slide down, and then when I play it, you can see how it came up. This is, you can see it comes up, right? So that's basic animation, but we want it to be smooth. That's the main purpose of you watching this video. You want to know how to do smooth animations. So we're going to select these two keyframes, and after selecting them, you would right click on it or double tap on it rather, and come to temporal interpolation, ease in. Then you see that the keyframes have changed their, what's it called, the icons have changed. Right click again, come to temporal interpolation and ease out. So you want to click ease in and ease out. Then after doing that, when you click on play, you are going to see that the thing is smoother, is better, right? But to make it smoother than it currently is, you can see this arrow here. Click on it and you have your curves, the same curves that we worked on CapCut. You can also work on them to make your animation smoother here in Premiere Pro. And I'm going to show you what you should be practicing with these curves so that you can actually get good at it. So for a start, what you want to know is that there's a certain way your curve should look if you are doing entry animation. In other words, if an icon or a thing is entering into your screen, there's a way your curves should look. And I would also explain the way for things that are moving around on screen and things that are going outside the screen. But for things coming on screen, basically click on this. You can see these two lines, these two edges here. You click on one, hold down shift and drag it. If it is an entry animation, you want the ending keyframe to be long and you want this one to be sharp. In other words, you take this one that is on the ground like this, you take it up, and instead of you dragging it like this, instead of you making it long, you don't want it long, you want it short, but it should go up. You can take it as high as you want, but not too high. And now, when you watch it, you can see how smooth it is. See how smooth it is. Okay, you can always make it better. The way I edit is I judge mainly with my eyes. Okay, so even though I have this, I can still bring this down a little bit if I feel like, oh, my animation is not as smooth as I want it. And you can see how that is. You can see how smooth it is. It's even looking smoother than the one we did on CapCut. So now the beautiful thing about Premiere Pro is when you want to add motion blur. Okay, so as I was saying, that is the entry animation, and you can see how smooth it is. I was talking about motion blur. I said on CapCut you have to wait so long for it to apply motion blur, but on Premiere Pro, if you use the reason I ask you to use the transform effect is because if you use it and you come to shutter angle under transform, this is shutter angle here, and you increase this stuff to 360, you are going to see that your effect, look at the motion blur. If you know what motion blur is what makes your movement, what blurs it. If I reduce it to 0, see that there's no blur there, but if I take it to 360, it just makes it look better. So now you have this, your entry animation, right? So in that video, let's look at what else do we have there. Drop my careers and okay, the cap, the cap spinning in. So how I can achieve that is go back to my effect. That one is also entry animation. Okay, but is it properties or project tutorial? So open my assets to bring it into my timeline. So it is right at this point. So I'm going to reduce the size of this cap as well. And where do I do that? Effect control under motion. I reduce it. I size it for this particular edit. I make sure I already size the cap to fit my head before I even animate, which is something you want to always do. You want to always make sure that if you are making this kind of complex animation, you want to make sure that the elements you are merging together before you even start animating, you have already set them to fit each other. Like this is an example right now. I must adjust this cap and make it look good on me, and so that when I'm animating I don't have to do all of that. So if I just do this little adjustment to the left, to the right, I make this 15. Oh, 15 is too much. Let's see if I can do 14.5. Is it possible? 14.5 is a little bit bigger, and then I'll rotate it a little bit, just a little bit of rotation. That's because my head is slightly slanted. And 385, if I increase this, if I shift this to the side a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, I think I'm okay with this. Now what I work on next is make sure that as this is coming up, this one is also coming from this side, and then it's spinning, then it stops here. So first I'll come to the end of this my keyframe here. This is the end of this keyframe for my picture. Then for the cap, I would also come to effect, bring in my transform to effect control, drop it, and then I would add a keyframe for position. Okay, because this one is coming from this side, it is position as well. So scale is if you are increasing or decreasing size. So what I would do is I'll take my playhead, I can take it somewhere. Let me watch the video again. Okay, I can take it as long as this this is out of the screen. So I can come here and add another keyframe under transform, under position. So I have 2 keyframes here. So I want this cap to be outside in this particular first keyframe, and the second keyframe I want it to be where it is, and the second keyframe is already set. So from the first keyframe, I adjust the x-axis, I move it out, completely out. Not completely out, I'll still move it completely out, but I'll tell you why I won't move it completely out. Because the other thing I added to the cap is a keyframe on rotation. I made sure the cap was rotating. It's rotated out, rotated in. So if I come back to this program monitor, the cap, I'll go to rotation. Where's rotation here? This is rotation. Toggle on the animation for that. So every time you want to turn on the keyframes, all you do is tap on the time icon that is beside each of these elements. Everything that has this stuff can be animated. Everything. So you are only limited to your imagination. So I'm going to come to the end of this position keyframe and add animation to rotation. So I make sure that both keyframes are on the same line. For this one too, both of them are on the same line too. So what I want to do is this place, I want to add some rotation to it, and I will turn it, just turn this. You can see I'm turning the rotation right now, and then I would look at it. It's not bad, but it's only turning once. Okay, I don't want it to turn once. I can turn it again just for it to turn twice so that it can be better. Something like this, way more better than the other one. So what I can do is now move it out completely and then add a little bit more of the rotation. Now when I play it, this is not fast. I'll tell you why. Because this is just a simple animation. We've not given it curves. We've not made it smooth. Okay, we've not added the smoothness to it. That's why it's looking dull like that. Okay, in fact, we can even go as far as turning the rotation a little bit more. So now we can select everything at the same time and right click, temporal interpolation, ease in, right click, temporal interpolation. So what you want to do is ease in, ease out. When you do that, let me do that again so you see something. Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. You can see I have to first of all pull down this in order for me to adjust these lines. But if I adjust this line like this as it is now, it's not going to look good. So that's why when I select everything, right click, just pay attention to the 2 keyframes under position, temporal interpolation, ease in, right click, temporal interpolation, ease out. You can see that these 2 stuffs are bent already. Like this is the ideal position you want to start with, like the ideal curve you want to start with, okay, because then you are going to be having smooth animation at the end. So you see that the same thing for the rotation aspect of things as well. Without adjusting the curves, if I just play it right now, you can see that it's better. But I want to add an entry animation curve to it. So I'll just click and drag long, and then I click this, I take it up as well. So the reason it is doing like this, you might be wondering what's going on here. Why is it turning here? It's because position, I have adjusted the curve for position and made this place fast and this place slow, while I've not done that for rotation. So if I do it for rotation, we shouldn't have that again. So I'll right click this, sharp and long. So when I click on play, you can see, right? If I want to make it faster, I can do this. I can select both of these and drag it to the place, and do the same thing for the headshots too. For the headshots, drag it here so you can see. Then I can come to the cap and add motion blur as well. I scroll down. If you're not able to scroll down any further, okay, like I'm not able to right now, come to these curves that you have opened, like position, click on the arrow, click on this arrow too, so that you have space. And even for the motion, click on this arrow, let everything go up, but for transform, bring it down and then increase the shutter angle to 360. Now play it. Wow, this one is even better. It's now like somebody is wearing the cap for me. Okay, so I can reduce the shutter angle if I actually want that rotation to be visible. So I can have something like this. I can even reduce it, or maybe put it at 50 or take it away completely. So you can see how we have been able to achieve that. For this particular video, I focused on the entry animation. Now let's say you want to do intermediate. The intermediate curve is also similar, but what you want to practice is, first of all, if you've never animated anything on Premiere Pro, what you want to practice is how to add keyframes for position and scale mainly, and then how to do this kind of curves that I'm doing right now using the transform tool. Okay, so once you have done that and you have been able to achieve this kind of thing on Premiere Pro, I'll make sure I link this same assets in the video so that you can practice with them on Premiere Pro. But yeah, you can use this for your entry animation, and then for the intermediate, what we are going to do is, since we are animating these two together, because as an editor I've edited over 250 if this thing went back a little bit, right, myself and the cap. So what I did is I merged the two together, and the way you do that is by nesting your sequence. And how you nest your sequence is select headshot, select cap, click and drag. Actually just drag it like this, make sure the two are selected, then press N. No, don't press N, sorry, N is my shortcut here, and I don't advise you to use shortcuts when you are just getting started. At least understand the basics first. So double click and go down, look for nest sequence. Next sequence should be somewhere here. This is nest. So once you click on next, you can name it headshot and cap. So this is similar to making a compound clip on CapCut, right? So now I want to zoom out, and I'm going to again search for transform, click and drag it to my effect control, leave it there, and then I'm going to use the scale. So I'll toggle on the animation for scale, play it a little bit, give it time. I've added time to it, added the second keyframe. So this one is an intermediate. In other words, I want you to move from this point, I want you to have another movement here, but I don't want it to go out. I just want it to be smaller on screen. Now this is where I explain anchor points. Anchor points is something else you need to understand. Anchor point is more like, I don't have my internet connection. If I go online now and I look for an anchor is more like something that holds something down. So under the transform, you can see your anchor point. You can notice that when I tap on this anchor point, you have this plus and circle thing like show up at the middle. What it does is that, just imagine, I'm trying to explain to you, and I need you to imagine something now. Let's assume this person or this picture is you right now, and you have a rope. You can tie the rope to the middle, you can tie the rope to this side, or you can tie it to this side or this side. You can tie the rope anywhere actually. Now let's assume you tie the rope to the middle of the screen. Now if the rope, let's assume the rope is elastic, if you tie the rope to that center and then you tie that rope to your hand or to your leg and you walk forward though, even though you walk to this point or even walk outside that point, the moment you get to a point where the rope can no longer move again and the rope has to like drag you back, you are going to go back to the point where the rope is. You are not going to go back to this point. Like if you take a rubber now, a rubber band, put it in your hand and you stretch the rubber band, you stretch it. The moment you release that force that you have added to it, the moment you release the force a little bit, what will happen is the rubber band will try to meet at the center. The anchor point is the point at which you started expanding that rubber. Let's assume you have a ship right now. If you throw an anchor is like something that has iron edges, and you throw it inside the water and it is able to latch onto a rock or something. What that anchor point does is, even though the ship might be able to move some distance, it will always come back to that environment where that anchor is. So that's what an anchor point is. I hope you've been able to understand me with these few points of mine. So what happens is, when I scale it and the anchor point is that center, it's going to go down to the point where the anchor point is. So that's another thing you need to understand when you are animating anchor point. So if I want to animate it, look at the one that I did now. It went down, and as it was going down, it went down the same direction. So if I want to achieve that on Premiere Pro, let me come back to my program monitor and my effects control. If I want to achieve that on Premiere Pro, first I will have to change the anchor point and let the anchor point be somewhere below here, somewhere here rather, so that when I'm zooming out, it's not going to zoom out to the center, it's going to zoom out to somewhere at the bottom. Okay, so let me turn off my keyframe first, because if you want to use change your anchor point, you have to first of all remove all your animations, or not, make sure you've not started animating anything. So what you do is, you are going to click on this anchor point, make sure that you click on it like this. Okay, look at position. I just click on position and there's one hash highlight, it's highlighted right now. Highlight this anchor point by clicking on it, come to the center of the frame, look at, this is your anchor point, this is the icon for it. So you can do it anyways, you can do it two ways I should say. You can drag it down to the bottom, because that's where we want to zoom out to, or you can use this X and Y axis to adjust it, but I prefer dragging it down. And how I do that is, I put my hand on a particular point on the screen. Be careful if you're using a very expensive laptop, unless you will break your screen. So just drag it down to the point where you have put your hand. And the reason you have to put your hand to direct you is because now you see I moved the anchor point and my subject moved to the top. It's going to happen like that, and the moment your subject moves, you might lose precision on the actual place you want to put your anchor point. So now you are going to select your anchor point, Ctrl C. Now that you have like adjusted the actual anchor point here, you are going to take this value that you have here in your effect control, take it and put it in position as well. So the value for the X axis, Control C, Control V, enter. And then the value for this other one to 358.9, type it under position. So you now see that your stuff is back where it was. Okay. So just make sure when you are changing your anchor point, you change your position to match the value of your anchor point. So now when I zoom out, let's try that again. When I zoom out, you can see that it's zooming out to this particular point. And when I see that, oh, well, it's going a bit away from it, what I can do is readjust the anchor point and let it go down further. You can see, I can still take it down a little bit. Anchor point, I can take it to this point. I can take it to this point, then copy the value of this, put it here, and now scale again, zoom out, and I've basically achieved the same thing I did in the other video, I think. So if I select these two, remember, double click on it, temporal interpolation, ease in, temporal interpolation, ease out, and I can have something like, now you can see how this is moving compared to this 250. This one was just like whoa, like that's how it was. And if you want to achieve that on Premiere Pro, the way you do that is add your intermediate curve. Okay, your intermediate curve, remember, you come down, you are not adding entry curve now, it is intermediate. Intermediate is both of these are going to be long and sharp. This one is going to be long and sharp, and this one too will be long and sharp. And what that does is that from the beginning it will be a bit slow, then suddenly it will just be fast, and then it will be slow again. And you have something like this. Exactly, right? That's what you want to achieve. And yeah, look at how smooth it is. So for the intermediate animation, pay attention to how this curve looks. Okay, you can see that it is more like this. It goes this direction, then comes up like this again. So having more like the V shape at the top. But if you are going to do it, make sure that you do it well. Just practice and you'll be good at it. Then the third kind of curve I would like to show you how to do is the exit curve, and I can use that to move this out of the screen. So I can use the same transform because I still have position here. I can toggle on the keyframe for position, let it have time a little bit, then at the end, remember, now this is the end point, and at the end I want this to be out of my screen. So I can just use this, move it out on this ending keyframe. So then I will now play it to look at it. You can see how it is. So for me to make it smooth, I'll select these two curves because those are what I'm working on right now. Right click, temporal interpolation, ease in, right click, temporal interpolation, ease out. So if I have done that, I would come down to open my velocity curve, and then I would right click. I'm doing the opposite of the entry animation at the exit, entry curve at the exit point. Now the entry animation, this one at the end will be long while this one will be sharp, but for the exit, this one at the beginning will be long and this one at the end will be sharp. So I'll have something like this. You see, as it's going out, it's going to be a bit slow, but then towards the end it will just be fast. So another thing I can do is turn on my shutter angle, make sure it is 360, cranked up to 360, and let's see how that looks. Right? Does that not look good? See, I will tell you something. What is going to be helpful for you is for you to do this again and again and again and again without first using presets. Because by doing that, you're actually going to be solidifying your understanding of it. When you begin to use presets, you are going to basically be better at them, because when your preset is looking not so good, you can adjust them. So that is that for that. Thank you for watching this video. I think I'm just going to stop at that. Is there another thing I didn't mention? I've mentioned anchor point, I've mentioned curves, transform, effect control panel, and effect panel. If you have any question, if there's anyone you don't understand, watch the video again or go to the CapCut animation video, watch it, or you can drop your questions in the chat. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have learned something. If you've been following this channel, then you already know the purpose of this channel is to actually teach you all that you need to know about video editing, video marketing. Those are the two main things we are teaching at the moment, because those are the two main things we know so well. And why are we doing this? We are doing this because we want you to support other people by learning. And what we mean by that is we want you to learn for free things you could have paid a lot of money for, or things you will hardly find on the internet. You learn them, we teach them to you, and by you learning, we are able to get income from this channel. Hopefully when it gets to 1,000 subscribers, the ad revenue will be enough. If it's not enough, we definitely have a backup plan. But the ad revenue, what we intend to do with it is take it, and the people that do not have access, like you'll be surprised to find that there are people who don't have access to YouTube, actually, and there are people who don't have laptops that can help them learn these things that they want to learn. So those are the kind of people we want to take the ad revenue and support them by way of hosting seminars, by way of getting them equipment, laptops, and what have you, everything they need. Starting out, maybe we might not be able to get everything, but eventually all that they need, the environment and all that, the equipment, the tools, the lessons, the trainings they need to be able to be equipped, right? We're going to be giving it to them, and we are not asking you to donate anything. Okay, we are just adding value. Okay, it's a value chain. We are trying to teach you what you are looking to learn, and by you learning, we are able to also teach others or help others have access. Access is very important at this point. I think that I want as many people as possible to have access to this tech knowledge and tech skills that we have in our world right now. Okay, especially people in the third world country like where I am. I just want you to know that when you're subscribing, you're actually supporting someone's journey. And when you are watching this video, you're not just wasting time, you are learning, and at the same time, you are also helping other people learn. So I want you to have that in mind. Let's do this together. Let's just do this together. That's all. And if you like this video, give it a like, drop a comment. It helps this video go very far as it can go. Yeah, just let me know, what do you not understand? Drop it in the comment section and I would definitely make another video to help you understand that, or what else you want to learn, and I'll make more videos to help you learn them. Have a wonderful time. Bye.